And now hanging out with me on set is a familiar face, sports desk reporter Colin Kushner, the guy who had a front row seat to the Pioneer League Showdown. Colin, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great, man. It's great to be here. I made it through the Riverside Heat. Normally, people don't do that very often, but I somehow managed to get it done.
Yeah, and obviously we saw it was a pretty lopsided victory that day for Torrance. The first two games those teams played, like we said, pretty close. But South, obviously, they actually had a really solid postseason even get there in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, South, honestly, in the semifinal game against California, they scored 5 runs in the top of the 7th to take the victory, and that's what put them in the finals against who other than Torrance.
Yeah, and obviously they ran into a little bit of a roadblock, as we're about to learn.
Well, you know, they unfortunately had a date with Southpaw pitcher Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith has been getting it done on the mound and at the plate for Coach Ollie Turner's squad. He was a huge part of that championship victory over South, and a big reason why the Tartars finished the season on top. Kyle Smith, the kid known on the field as Smitty, has been the go-to guy all season long for the Tartars. Whether it has been on the mound or at the plate, the kid has been the engine that makes his team run. And head coach Ollie Turner knew he could count on him in the championship game.
We knew Smitty's going to dominate the day. He wanted it really bad. And I mean, he threw 24 shutout innings in the playoffs. They started 3 games and completed them, came in and threw 3 shutout the other day to let us squeak one out just to be here. So I can't say enough about how bad that kid's desire and he kind of carried us at the plate, on the mound, whatever.
Last season, the Tartars were ousted early on in the postseason and came up just short in their last 2 championship game appearances back in 2009 and 2010. But Smith and his teammates have had this moment on their mind for quite some time.
Coming off of last season, being on the varsity team, and we came up short in the first round. And ever since freshman year, we've been talking about this moment, senior year, getting it done for all the past years for Torrance. And it feels great just getting it done.
Smith had 2 hits and an RBI in the victory over South in the Division IV Southern Sectionals. He amassed 12 strikeouts and only allowed 2 hits in a complete game shutout.
My fastball was working, the command, and just having my defense behind me, it feels good getting the run support early, and just going out there makes it that much easier.
The big stage is something that Smith is used to, but Coach Turner and his staff have been working with him all year when it comes to game preparation.
I mean, we've kind of coached them all year to kind of let your emotions kind of be on the side because it is a rival school and all these things are going through their heads in the days leading up. But just to focus on the moment and pitch by pitch, and he was ready. I mean, he'd primed himself. This is not the first time he's dominated the day like he did today. So
Smith has been untouchable throughout these 2014 playoffs, and the last time he lost dates all the way back to March against Narbonne. Kyle Smith was on fire throughout the playoffs. He had 4 wins, tossed 24 shutout innings with 30 strikeouts. Now that's impressive. The senior will graduate from Torrance in the coming weeks and will take his talents to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in the fall. But Smith wasn't the only one who had a huge Saturday. On the way to the CIF championship game, Manny Aloke got a call from the Kansas City Royals, who nabbed him in the 16th round of the MLB first-year player draft. Talk about a day to remember. Aloke wasn't the only Torrance athlete drafted. A few former Torrance players heard their name called. Trent Gilbert, who is currently playing for the Arizona